Okay, we're at Madison Ave Strength Lab in Larchmont, New York. This is the studio where I train clients, and today we're gonna be training back and shoulders. So this is my first week back to serious training where I'm trying to, again, build muscle and push myself as near to fatigue as I can, that I have adequate time to recover. I just went through a deload period. When we moved into the house, I dropped my volume by 50% and I dropped the weight I was using down to 60% of my normal load. So if I normally squatted 400 pounds, I was only squatting 240 pounds. I was only using 60% of the weight I usually use. And the reasoning for that is that I really wanted to give my body time to recover and resensitize to training. And that's exactly what's happening. It requires way less work for me to get fatigued while lifting right now. I'm not big on how much number is on the bar. I care more about how I look and about building muscle. At this point, I'm strong enough. I'm not trying to be a power lifter. I'm just trying to use mechanical tension in order to build muscle, in order to have a very toned, lean look. So I focus on my diet and I focus on mechanical tension in the gym for the look I want. I'm not preoccupied about being a power lifter or world's strongest man. Today is my second session back to doing training with back. It's the second time I've done back since my deload. I think I'm probably gonna need 6 hard sets, all within 2 to 3 reps of failure in order to fatigue my back. We're gonna start with supinated pull downs and with a warm up. Supinated grip where I can hold soup the entire time. My wrist is turned towards me. I like this variation because there's a lot of lat. I make sure that I get a full stretch on each and every single rep. 6, 7. And then I pull all the way down till my elbow is in line with my spine. That's a very easy set. Same thing here, big stretch, all the way down to my elbow. Elbow in line with spine, all the way down. 2. All right. I really like to focus on stretching the muscle. This is a warm-up. This should be nowhere near to failure. Easy warm-up, 2-minute break, and then I'll train again. So if you think about it, depending on the size of the muscle group, and what I mean by that is how many muscles are in the group. So for something like a back, right? You've got traps, you've got upper traps, middle traps, lower traps, you've got rhomboids, you've got lats, you've got spinal erectors. You have a ton of muscles in that group. You might need to do more sets. Something like chest, there's only 2 muscle groups, right? There's pec minor and there's pec major. Pec minor attaches to the clavicle, pec major attaches to the sternum. That's it, there's 2 muscle groups. So 5 really hard sets, you're definitely gonna fatigue your chest. Something like back, I've got to work a lot of different angles. I want something that's going to get my lats involved. I probably want something that's going to work my mid-back muscles, like a row, something along those lines. Maybe I want to work my spinal erectors on the same day. Probably not. I'm probably going to work my spinal erectors a lot when I do legs, right? There's a lot of axial fatigue and there's a lot of spinal erector involved in that day. But depending on what your goals are, you're going to need to do more sets in order to build back, simply because there's more muscles in the group. Another thing to think about, certain muscles get more fatigued than other muscles. Triceps get fatigued very easily with a low volume. Hamstrings get fatigued very easy with low volume. Back, you really have to brutalize it. We're in 1 minute and 14 seconds in. I'm gonna take a 2-minute break total, and then I'm gonna go to my next, probably working set. Do about 60 pounds. I started with a warm-up of 40, move up here to 60. I'll know in like the first few reps if this is the right weight for me. Remember, I'm just back from a deload. I'm gonna make very calculated decisions about the weight I'm using. My goal is to go 2 to 3 reps from failure on each and every set. Supinated, I'm gonna turn my wrist. Pull down. This is a good weight. This is gonna be a working set. I probably had about 2 reps left, so that's an RIR, reps in reserve, of 2, or it's also an RPE of 8. These are scales at which you look at how fatiguing something is. So RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. When I'm doing sets, I'm usually doing a rate of perceived exertion of somewhere between 8 and 9, meaning either I have 1 full rep left as an RPE of 9, or I have 2 reps left, an RPE of 8. So that was very fatiguing. Probably had 2 reps left, took a little 30-second break here. Go to the other side, same thing, 10 reps. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna end up doing 3 working sets with 10 to 12 reps with about a 2.5 minute break per side. So I just finished that's my left side. I'm gonna take a 2-minute break, and then I'm gonna do my right side, take a 30-second break, and then do my left side. 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. Okay, second working set. Again, we're going for that 10 to 12 rep range. I should be going slightly lower set over set. So my first set, maybe getting more like 12, and my second set getting more like 11 or 10, all the way down to like maybe 8. But again, as long as I'm getting 8 to 12, and my rate of perceived exertion is somewhere between 8 or 9, meaning I have 1 or 2 reps left in my tank. Nice stretch all the way to the top. Beautiful. I try to hold the weight as I come down in the negative of the last rep. So like if I was bench pressing, my last one, I wouldn't just drop down. I would really try to control the stretch as I come down. With this on my last rep, I just don't let it fall up. Try to get that stretch even on the last rep. I think people get overly preoccupied with when they're pressing, getting the weight up and not focusing on the stretch down at the bottom, which is gonna cause a lot of growth. And I think when people are pulling, they focus more on pulling down rather than making sure they get a deep stretch as they come up with on top. You wanna have that mechanical tension through the entire range of motion. You wanna feel your muscles engaged. You wanna be fighting the tension or fighting gravity as you're working out. All right. Oh my God. Oh, come on. Oh, nice. Again, I think I had 1 or 2 reps left. Second working set, 8 to 12 reps. Challenging, but like not crazy. I don't need a lot right now to continue to progress, to elicit fatigue. As I continue on here, I'll probably push closer and closer to failure. I have about a 12-week block of training until the new year. And my goal really is to remain around 240, drop another 3 to 4 pounds of fat. I'm on TRT. In a 3-month period, I think I could put on 1.5 pounds of muscle, as long as I'm really pushing myself and I'm making sure that my nutrition is adequate and I'm getting proper rest. And I know in the gym's easy. Nutrition now is easy for me in terms of like hitting protein requirements. It still takes effort to make sure that I'm not overeating and that I'm dieting. But I'm in a really good groove, and I pretty consistently each 12-week block dropped about 3 pounds of fat and put on approximately the same amount of muscle. I'm starting to expect that I won't put on as much muscle through each of these mesocycles, but I have like 3 really blocks before the summer where I plan to compete in Masters Classic Physique. So we're gonna take a minute break, 2 minutes total. I've got a minute left of a break, and then we're gonna do my third and final working set of supinated single arm pull downs. That said, I only got 10 reps. Really felt fatigued. I would have had to really push myself to get 12 reps. I'm just going until it starts to slow down, until I really start to feel like it's really accrued some lactic acid, that it's starting to build up, and I'm starting to slow down as I pull down. Oh. Okay, 3 working sets. Gonna take a 3-minute break, and then we're gonna start to do cable rows. I'm gonna do these with a neutral grip. Come on with me. I've really been appreciating doing neutral grip rows recently, because what's been happening is I really care about growing my arms right now. Probably the primary things I care about growing are my calves and my arms. And a lot of back exercises, they require a lot of grip. So my extensors get beat up a lot while training, and it can lead to elbow tendonitis. So finding an exercise that allows me to row and stimulate mid-back muscles and some lats, while at the same time not just tearing up my extensors, phenomenal. Like, I love chest supported rows, but they're just not working for me right now. Every time I do chest supported rows with any meaningful volume or any meaningful load, my forearms and like just this extensor, this part of the forearm, start bleeding into my elbows, and I'm just gonna end up getting some tennis elbow on the side here, and that's no bueno. It's gonna prevent me from being able to train arms the way I want to. So this neutral grip cable pull, or this neutral grip cable row, really working for me right now. That's what you wanna find. You wanna find exercises that work for you, that allow you to accomplish your goal without actually hurting yourself. This whole like, no pain, no gain, it's complete bullshit. If you're in pain, you're not going to be able to continue to gain. You need to be able to train pain-free. You need to train intensely. It's gonna certainly be, how can I say this? It's going to be difficult to complete the sets. You're gonna have to push yourself. So it's going to be mentally challenging, but it should not be physically painful while lifting weights. So I'm gonna take another 1.5-minute break, 3-minute break on this one, let myself calm down a little bit, and I'm gonna do a set of cable rows. So here we are, first working set of cable rows. Because I'm going to be using my feet to stabilize, I like to lean forward slightly while doing this movement. I really focus on the stretch, and then I pull down with my elbows. Beautiful. So, deep stretch on every single rep. I'm hinged forward slightly, keeping my legs nice and stable so that I stay in a stable portion. It's really important that I don't lean back because I don't want my spinal erectors to get involved. I want my lats to do the work. That deep stretch, I feel upper back, mid back, and a lot of lat while doing this exercise. So I see this as a total back exercise, this cable row. For right now, this is my version of a chest supported row or a one arm row or a bent over row. If my priority was back, I might approach this very differently, but wanting to be able to train my arms in a meaningful manner every single time and wanting to stay pain-free and healthy so I can accomplish that, that's why I'm doing this. I'm not overly concerned about growing my back. My back is big enough. What I'm really looking to do right now is to get my arms a little bit bigger, and that's why I'm utilizing this exercise. So take a 2-minute break, and then I'll go back to another set of cable rows. Okay, second working set, looking for around 10 reps again. 3 sets here. Leaning forward, nice and stable. Pull down and up. Leaning down and back. I'm pulling down with my elbows and back. Probably had 1 rep left there. This is an RPE of 9. Back feels great. I've got 1 set left in me, but that was really great. Take about a 2-minute break, do our last working set. There'll be 6 sets total for back tonight. Same thing, last working set of neutral grip cable rows, then we'll move on to some rear delts. All in, we'll do about 12 sets today. We'll do 6 sets of back and 6 sets of delts. Delts is one of those muscles that it's a small muscle group comprised of a lot of muscles. There's actually 7 muscles within the delt. We think of it simply as anterior, medial, and posterior, but there's actually 7 muscles in the deltoid. So I'm gonna do some work for my side delt, my medial delt, and I'm gonna do some work for my posterior. We'll start off with the reverse fly. But last set of cable rows first. Deep stretch. Oh yeah. Beautiful. That's it for back. 3 sets of supinated, 3 sets of supinated pull down, 3 sets of neutral grip rows. Okay, so first deltoid movement, we're gonna be doing reverse cable flies. When I do this movement, I either like to do a machine where I can brace my chest against the pad, or if I don't have access to a machine fly, I'm gonna do these cable reverse flies. A lot of people think that when you do deltoids, especially like medial or posterior, the rear delt, that you have to do high reps. You don't. You can do 8 reps, you can do 6 reps, you can do 10 reps. They're all hypertrophic. They'll all build muscle. But for me, when I use very heavy weight, when I try to do reverse flies, I end up shrugging a lot. So I'm always battling against shrugging. My upper trap, it really loves to take over. So I have to pick a weight that I can maintain posture while doing it. So I'm gonna start with my hands crossed over. I'll show you on the next set what that looks like. I'm gonna reach with my arms, and I'm gonna reach the entire way, limiting how much my shoulder blades squeeze together. All right, that was an RAR of 2, right? Meaning I had 2 reps in left reserve. I'm kind of using these terms interchangeable. RPE. Remember, an RPE of 8 means I have 2 reps left. Rate of perceived exertion, or RIR of 2 means I had 2 reps left. I always take delts very near failure. Even if I'm fresh off training, I would never do like an RIR of 3. I might do that for like back. I might do that for chest while I'm getting back into it. But deltoids, they really need very challenging. Same thing with arms. Delts and arms, you have to really push yourself on the sets to make them worthwhile. They don't need a long break either. I'm gonna only give myself a 1.5 break, and I'm gonna go back to this. I usually take somewhere between a 2-minute break, 1.5, 2-minute break for things like arms, calves, rear delts. For things like compound movements, like back, 2-3-minute breaks. For really serious, like very, very challenging exercises, Bulgarian split squat, deadlifts, I'll even take up to a 4-minute break while doing those. The next set, I'll show you what this looks like from the front, when I do these cable reverse flies. Okay, second working set of reverse cable flies. I'm gonna show you setup. Right hand grabs the left pulley, left hand grabs the right pulley. A lot of people make this mistake. They do the set like this. Don't. Come here, wrist over elbow over shoulder. So my right wrist is over my right elbow, over my right shoulder. Tension's pulling like this. I'm resisting the tension. Then I'm keeping myself squeezed down, not shrugging. Arms start here, and I reach. 1, 2, and I reach the entire way. I'm reaching right now. I'm reaching. If I reach, my shoulder blades can't squeeze together. 8, 9, 10. Probably had 1 rep left there. Again, really pushing myself, fighting to not let myself shrug. I don't want to get like this. I want to stay down, and I want to pull down with my arms. That's why I have the cable set up higher. So the tension is like this actually. It's in a downward motion. Your pec functions by coming across your body and up. Your rear delt functions by going away from your body and down. And I reaching with my wrist. I'm reaching with my wrist. I'm reaching with my wrist through that whole plot line, through from here to here. The entire time I'm reaching, because I want to be in protraction. I want to be in that position to work my rear delts. Third and final set here. Really watch me. I'm trying not to shrug. Keep my shoulders down, hands apart, and reaching. Beautiful. That's it. Rear delt's done. Set my timer, take a 2-minute break, and then we're gonna start to do lateral raises with a cable. I'm gonna do 3 working sets on each side. That will be it for today. 12 hard sets, pushing myself on each one. We'll accomplish back and shoulders. Okay, my personal favorite medial delt exercise, cable lateral raise. 1, 2, 11 reps, going for that 8 to 12 rep range. It was really challenging. I feel my delts already fatiguing. I'll do it again on the other side. Okay, so 3 working sets, 10 to 12 reps. So remember when I talked about with a muscle group, it depends on how many muscles are within the group. Some muscle groups have less muscles, like chest, again, there's only 2 muscles within that group. Or within your pectorals, there's only 2 muscles, pec minor and pec major. Back is more complicated. Deltoids, despite being such a small size muscle, again, there's 7 muscles within there, right? There's 3 muscles alone for the anterior delt. So we usually think about it only as anterior, medial, and posterior, but there's actually 7 muscles in there. So it's going to require more exercises to address each of those muscle groups, like the front press, a front raise, something like that to get your anterior delt, a lateral raise of some sort to get your medial delt. There's gonna be some rear delt when you're doing your lateral raises. There's gonna be some medial delt when you're doing your reverse cable flies, but you need a specific exercise to address those muscles. The same thing's true with your quad. Quad has 4 muscles, so it's got a decent amount of muscles within the group. But the vasty muscles, so your vastus medialis, your vastus lateralis, and so on, those need things like squats, leg presses to address them. They don't really address your rectus femoris. You need something like a sissy squat or a leg extension to address that. So maybe you do 4 or 5 sets of like leg presses, squats in order to get your vasty muscles, but you still want to address your rectus femoris. So maybe you're ending up doing another 2 sets of leg extensions afterwards. So in the case of deltoids here, I would probably need 3 exercises to address every single head of the delt, right? Which is composed of 7 muscle groups, but 3 heads. Second working set. 3. 4. Second working set. That's it for today. So we're at Madison Ave Strength Lab in Larchmont, New York. This is where I train clients. Just got in a session for myself, back and shoulders. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Follow me here on YouTube. Following keeps growing day over day. But on Instagram, that's where the majority of my following is. I'm also on TikTok, so if you like what you see here, I have plenty of short form content besides these long form videos. But thanks for joining me in this training session today.